Welcome to Randall Riley's Weekly Report. I'm Joshua Miller. Let's not waste any time and let's jump right into it. This week in job board searches and clicks. Last week, we saw a decrease in searches while clicks rose slightly. Clicks on job postings for inexperienced or trainee driver postings saw the largest increase, while postings for more experienced company drivers was the only category that saw a decrease in clicks and click-through rate. Now, since the majority of posting activity actually happens to be this category, that did have a large influence on the overall search and click volume. Now, for the actual numbers. Truck driver searches were down 8% week over week, up 5% month over month, and up 17% year over year. Clicks on driver postings were up 1% week over week, up 22% month over month, and down 11% year over year. It would seem that though it appears drivers are interested in what other fleets are offering, the low lead volume would also seem to say that, for the most part, it's merely window shopping. This week in freight, spot volume surged once again and hit another record milestone. While winter weather did play a role in the past few weeks, the trend had already begun long before that. We saw nearly record volume as we began the year, and consumer demand rose sharply in January as we saw another round of stimulus. Low retail inventory levels and various supply chain shortages also took a toll and stressed the system. While the winter storm effects will rapidly disappear, the underlying market forces will continue to shape the freight market in the coming weeks. Load postings in the Truckstopcom system shot up nearly 25%, setting another record. That is now the third consecutive week a record has been set. And in addition to the spike in load postings, all three major segments set weekly records for load volume. Dry van load postings rose 26% week over week, refrigerated was up 6%, and flatbed increased by 32% week over week. And as the country shook off the cold and more trucks became available to accept loads, truck postings jumped by 27% week over week, bringing the numbers more in line with what we saw prior to all the winter weather activity. Postings also spiked for all three segments. Dry van was up 39%, refrigerated was up 30%, and flatbed rose by 20% week over week. Spot rates increased by 6 cents per mile. That translates to a 40% increase in rates from the same time in 2020. As far as each segment, dry van rates were up 17 cents week over week, refrigerated was up 7 cents, and flatbed came in with an increase of 2 cents week over week. With plenty of freight and miles available to drivers, retention rates will be higher. Those looking to increase driver capacity and take advantage of the ample freight will need their offerings to drivers to be as competitive as possible. And now let's finish things up with our story of the week. Changes to the FMCSA's hour of service regulations have given fleets and their drivers added flexibility. Fleets are now able to categorize more of their drivers as short haul. That means they'll be able to lengthen their workday. The short haul air mile driving radius was increased from 100 to 150 miles, and short haul drivers are now officially allowed up to 14 hours on duty time. That's up from the previous 12 allowable hours. In addition, drivers can now exceed their air mile radius up to 8 days within any 30-day period without having an ELD in the truck. They will, however, need to keep a good old-fashioned paper log in the truck on those days they exceed that air mile limit. New break rules are also in effect and allow drivers to take their 30-minute rest break during on-duty, non-driving time. It is important to remember that there are 25 states who have not yet made the switch to these new changes, so please check your local restrictions in your area for the most accurate information. It is expected that all states will adopt these new changes eventually. This increased flexibility will alleviate some of the capacity constraints, but of course fleets will still need to bring on additional drivers to meet demand. One thing to note is safety groups have challenged the legality of these new changes, but courts have granted the FMCSA a motion to put the case on hold until April 20th. We'll keep you updated with any new information as it becomes available. And that's it for this week's report. Don't forget you can access a PDF featuring all of the information we cover here this week and every week over on randallriley.com's blog. We also have some other goodies over there you might want to check out. Until next week, this has been the Weekly Report, taking a look back to help you move forward. Have a great week, everybody.